Gigi Sabat, and you're listening to the Walk With Me podcast. My guest today is Fritznel. Welcome back to the show.
Thank you, Gigi, for having me. I'm glad to be back.
Such an honor to have you back on the show. Previously, we spoke about everything you do shall be based on a purpose. And tonight's discussion, we're talking about abuse. Fritznel, tell us a little bit more about you and where are you from?
Um, I'm from Haiti originally, and I've been in the U.S. for a while now, but I'm still tied to my roots, where I'm from. All everything I do as work and family, everything is related to what's going on in Haiti and what's a may happen in Haiti. So, in the future times and so on.
Thank you, Fritznel. Now, tell us a little bit more about the abuse that you experienced in your life.
Well, to talk about this, it is to me for me it's a very hard topic really to talk about. But I decided a few months ago this probably the best thing to do is to open up to be open about it, to talk about what happened to me when I was a kid I mean to my teenage years, and how I overcome that, and um, maybe that can be an inspiration to some other people that probably been in situations like that, or a different situation, different abuse situation where they don't know how to overcome it, or they've been past it, but it's still left some stigma, or different effects on them, so they don't know how to overcome. So we'll come right to my situations. Or first of all, let me put it on context. I was born in a village in Haiti, but out of wedlock. My father was married when he encountered my mother, and then so in their relationship outside of his marriage, so I was born. Um, since he was a someone devoted in church, he was a preacher back then. So afraid that he will be facing punishment the church leaders. So he had to take me very early from my mother. So I didn't have a chance to receive the nurture of a mother. So I was raised by my stepmother, who 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 is my father's wife. Um, so in that context, I was a subject of very violent domestic abuse. We were six children in the house, but then for most of the time, I sincerely feel that I was not one of the six. I was some things in there I didn't know who I was, because for the type of abuse I was received from my stepmother. So I couldn't imagine that I was a child as well as the rest of the five children.
Thank you for sharing this with us, Fritznel. And I know it's your first time, and I know it's very difficult. And again, thank you for being transparent. When we talk about the scars that you say that you have on your body, you say that you're over the age of 50, and they still appear. How is it going through life each day with those scars? Tell us how you truly feel.
Um, Most of the time, I try to forget about them, like they don't exist. So it's probably the most part of my life. I mean, I've been living that as a fake reality. So I've been trying not to think about. I have those scars. I have one on my right leg, and then one on my right ribs. So from very violent, like, so the one on my right thigh, my right legs is because she pushed me on a fire, so I get burned. So bad. Well, I mean, as a child back then, maybe 4, 5 or 6 years old. So I can't recall every details about the fire, but I have the recollection that she pushed me, and then that was a fire, and I got burned because, you know, the sad part about it is when my father is around, it's like I was treated like like normal, like everybody else. But it's when he was not around because he was sometimes he was going to Port-au-Prince. He got his business back and forth and spent weeks out, and then my life was in danger. And for the most part, I'll be facing terrible misery. And until he get back, and when he get back, so like everything was normal. And then I couldn't I couldn't tell him what was going on. I'm not sure he ever knew what happened to me when I was a kid. I don't know if anyone in the neighborhood probably told him, because I know some people didn't know. And some people even today, they talk to me about this. They say, oh yeah, they remember this, they remember that. So most of the time, as I said, I try not to remember I was ever subject to this kind of abuse. Not to remember I have those scars.
And the abuse you're referring to is domestic violence. And as we're aware, domestic violence is not just in relationships, it can also happen in the home, in
Yes.
regards to the family as well. So thank you for sharing this with us, Fritznel. Now, tell us a little bit more, because when we spoke, you and I, we spoke about trauma. Let's talk about trauma for a moment, and how traumatic is it for you to really recall what happened?
It's been traumatic. I remember when I was in school in Port-au-Prince, about age, 15, 16, when my father, sent me to school in Port-au-Prince. So every night, I would like have my overnight, and then seeing my stepmother running after me, like for any little things that happened during the day. So I would see her in my sleep, cursing me, chasing me to beat me up, and so on. So it's very difficult. It's traumatic. But and then at some point, I started to find comfort when really become a person with a very deep faith. And I learned to forgive. I learned to have compassion. I learned to be forgetful. I learned to be grateful. I learned to be generous. And then that's how I started to feel at peace. And then I'll say, all is well with my soul, that song. So I would sing it all the time.
Very powerful. Thank you for sharing that with us, Fritz. Now let's circle back here, because you said your faith pretty much got you through everything that you experience. Tell us a little bit more about your faith, Fritz. Now.
So I'm someone who's not religious. But I strongly believe in God. So I try every day to be closer to Him, to find my best possible relationship, personal relationship with Him, and that's what nurture me and in my my belief system, and then everything I do. I always think that okay, there's something that I may not be able to do physically or mentally. I may not be able to handle myself, but because God is so powerful, God is mighty, so He has nothing impossible for him to do. And I sometimes I sing these lyrics by Brandon Lake in Elevation Worship, which says, um, the God of the mountain is the God of the valleys. So there is no place his mercy cannot find me. So even if I feel like so weak at some point, so and then I will pray and I will implore His. I will ask for His grace, His compassion, and then His strength. And then by the time I'm talking to Him personally, and I feel that strength, and I feel that His Spirit lift me up.
I love it. And you stated God's spirit lifts you up. Very
Yeah.
powerful statement. Now, you also spoke about forgiveness. And as we know in the Bible, it says, Father, please forgive them, for they do not know what they are doing. Now, let's talk about the importance of forgiveness. Tell us a little bit more about the importance of it, Fritznel.
So before that, let me just give you an illustration. Okay. So in the context of everything that happened to me, and in the context I was born, but God knows why. Because I never imagined that okay, this was possible, because my dad was a church person with all this tradition with church in Haiti, especially the Protestant church. So he was a preacher, and then married. He had 4 kids in his marriage, and then he was happily married. So no way in the world. So I would be born in that context. So, but God probably have a plan. I mean, not probably. God had a plan. So I was in the middle of it, and I experienced all this. I experienced, and so I became a bridge builder between my father's side of the family and my mom side of the family. Because for years, maybe up to probably my age 40, my mother and my stepmother, they never talk. Never. They would never follow each other's footstep on anything. So like pathway, on anything. If my stepmother knows my mother is at some place, she'll never go there until she knows for sure that my mother is no longer there. Or the same way for my mother, vice versa. So um because of myself, like about 10 years ago, so I because I or the way I show compassion, the way I demonstrate love, the way I demonstrate forgiveness to everyone around me, including my stepmother, for all that she knows that consciously she did to me. But I never she will never find someone to tell her I said this about her. And I never shown her that I didn't love her for any reason. I always do. I have always done what I have to do for her at for any given day, for any given reason. So and then my mom, so I showed her example as well. And then so all of a sudden they they become friends. So my mom will come in here to the US, travel, spend some time with me, and then goes back to Haiti. And then when she goes back to Haiti, she goes to my stepmother's house, the house where I grew up. And then she died in my lifetime before those past 10 years. That never happened. She never come, came close to this home. So and then she would come here. She would buy stuff. She would take money. She bring money to her, etc. They exchange stuff among themselves. That's what forgiveness does. That's what compassion and love does.
That's very true. And I love what you said there. Forgive and move on with your life. Very
Yeah.
powerful statement. Now, Fritz, now what message do you have for another individual who's going through a similar situation in regards to domestic violence?
So my message is simple. Don't feel you don't think that you're too strong. You need to talk it out. Don't resist. Don't live with it inside of you. Talk to someone that probably have more experience than you in life, or someone probably that have experience with some kind of abuse as well, and then that overcome it, or look for resources, institution that may help you, but also be mindful about your own action as well in terms of how you treat others. So be forget forgiven. So be grateful, and then have compassion and love. So
Excellent.
the rest you will find a way to get to break through with the rest of it.
Excellent. Now, you mentioned earlier as well that you're over the age of 50 and it's your first time sharing what happened in regards to the domestic violence.
Mhm.
What message do you have for someone who feels as though they are too old to share what happened to them as far as domestic violence or any challenge in their life?
It's never too late because you never know what who your message will touch. And then because understand that it's not always about you. Yeah, I know sometimes, probably most of the time, for most people, it's about them. It's about their own life, their own way of seeing things. But it's not. It doesn't have to be like that. It's not. It's not. It's not. It shouldn't always be like that. So you need to look at the community. Need to look at we are we are um obligated to live as a community and society. You're not in a bubble by yourself. So you need to see um, yourself as someone helpful to the rest of society. So whatever whoever your message can touch, you never know what the effects will be. So just put it out there, talk it out. It will be it's a win-win situation. You will feel free, and at the same time, your message may touch someone.
I love it. Now, you and I also spoke about how you are a male. You did present that as well. And when we spoke about you being a male and really sharing your story for the first time, what message do you have for other males or individuals as well who again are in fear of sharing their message or sharing what happened?
Um, as men, we need to understand that we at this time in life we need to be vulnerable. So you cannot um be living and thinking that, oh, you're a man, and you just absorb everything inside of you, and then you don't express it out because people will see you as weak or something. So it may be different for a different culture, but in general, men is that's a tendency that we don't want to show that we're weak. We have certain kind of weakness. So, but sharing is caring, and also by you sharing, by you speaking out, you will feel more empowered. But right now, at the beginning, I was struggling. I feel like I was so nervous at the beginning. But right now, I feel like I'm free because I just let it out. I just speak. That's my message for every man out there that who feel that they they're afraid to come out to share their situation to the in the context they live in, and then it is not something that's pretty. So you do this to liberate yourself, and then you do this to help inspire others.
Amen. Thank you, Fritznel. And again, thank you for sharing your story. I know it was not easy at all. And again, thank you for coming forward and letting your voice be heard. I appreciate you. Now, tell us a little bit more about your book.
Yes, okay. My book, Haiti Between Pestilence and Hope, right? That's that's it. Yes, my book is it was written in the context of um expressing a message that resonates to Haitians, especially to make every Haitian understand that in spite of all the challenges that Haiti has been facing for years now, um, there's still hope. The hope is in the people. The hope is in the nature. The hope is in all the natural resources that that's are available in the country, on the soil, and the beaches, the mountains, the valleys, the rivers, um, the plains, the potential for great agricultural developments, and the youth. Haiti is all the populations of Haiti is more than 60% young people. So this is not something you find everywhere. So the youth of this country, if well supported, assisted, can be a good future for the country.
Thank you, Fritznel. Now, where can the audience find you?
Everywhere. I am on all major social media platforms and Instagram, LinkedIn, Facebook. You will type my name, Fritznel Octave, everywhere. You find me. My book is on Amazon, Barnes& and Noble, all the indie bounds, bookstores. I'm everywhere. I have my own website, Fritznel D Octave.com. So, and also, I am the co-host of a podcast, 18 for Renaissance, which is um, designed to basically promote the best of Haiti. So it's 1804innocence.com. Anyone goes to the website and you can chat with me, chat with some of the other co-hosts, and you can also watch some of the episodes we have in the past, and we every Sundays at 7 p.m. Eastern time we live.
Thank you, Fritznel. And again, thanks for being a guest on the Walk With Me podcast. I appreciate you. And ladies and gentlemen, make sure to check out Fritznel on his website. Again, that's Fritznel D Octave.com. And Fritznel, thanks again. God bless you and be safe, my friend.
Yeah, same to you, Gigi. It was a pleasure to be with you for a second time on walking with me. I was honored to be on your show again, and have a good night.
God bless.